When I say I'm a communication or speaking skills coach, most people assume I am talking about public speaking. And they say, oh, speaking skills. So you're talking about supporting people in TED Talks or public speaking on stages. And while speaking on stages is one important application of great speaking, it is not the only one, nor is it even the most important one. Communication skills are fundamental to your success in every area of your life, from professional and career impact to your personal friendships and your love relationships. Most of us don't speak on stages, but all of us, in order to be our most effective, especially in the domains governing money and love, need to speak spontaneously and communicate effectively. My name is Lisa Lacroix. I'm a speaking, communications, and relational coach, a certified feminine embodiment teacher, and that is the frame through which I'm going to share some essential communication skills. Maybe you hear about communication all the time and you're wondering why. Does it really matter? Effective communication might be one of the most underdeveloped and critical skills for us as a humanity right now. Maybe more than ever before, which is ironic because we have more tools, more reach, more access to each other than ever before. And yet we are more disconnected and more lonely than ever before. More people are single and alone, and increasingly people are opting out of relationships altogether out of fear or lack of skills to maintain them. Our relationships with loved ones too often break down and are rife with misunderstanding and misinterpretations. Divorce is at an all-time high. Thriving in the workplace, financial independence, and career success all hinge on effective communication and emotional intelligence. Yes, emotional intelligence too. And increasingly, as AI handles more and more of the implementation of the prescribed task-based logistical work, interpersonal communication skills will become and are becoming increasingly more important and a massive differentiator. And so for our work in the world, in a time when most of us feel overwhelmed by all there is to do, communication skills and the ability to collaborate with our team members, with our colleagues, we become even more ineffective and overwhelmed. As a collective right now, we are at a stage in history where divisiveness is the norm. And I'm talking about between countries, in politics, even between men and women. And all of this threatens not only our ability to connect and form and maintain friendships and to find and deepen love, but it even increasingly puts our safety and even our continuance as a species at risk. And I don't think I'm overstating that case. Right now, people feel more depressed than expressed. And self-expression is central for our happiness in the world, for the feeling of being known and seen and understood. And when we don't know how to communicate concisely and authentically and with clarity, it can result in us feeling ineffective, disconnected, and demoralized. So yes, I believe that effective communication is essential for all things human right now. So what is effective communication? I organize it into 5 central pillars. The first is self-awareness. That means understanding who you are and how you operate. Then the second is expressiveness. How do you take what you know and what you want and project it out into the world to communicate it to others? The third is listening. How do we receive other people's communication coming towards us? And then responsiveness. How do we throw the ball back to them? How do we give feedback and offer constructive input? How do we remain open and be collaborative? And the fifth is nonverbal communication. How do we listen empathetically and use body language and other nonverbal means of expression, like facial expression? If we can build and develop ourselves in those 5 areas, we will have stronger relationships. We'll be more effective in every area where we collaborate with others, we will have better friendships, we'll be better parents and lovers, and we'll be more effective at decision making and problem solving and change making in our careers. I like to say you need communication skills if you want to make money, make friends, or make a difference. So let's break down those 5 pillars. The first, self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation for all communication and all connection. When we know ourselves and understand our learning styles, who we are, when we're clear about what we want and need, as well as our habitual responses to challenges, then we have that superpower of self-awareness as a foundation. When we develop and deepen emotional intelligence, we have more empathy for other people, which gives us a greater ability to connect and to communicate with them. So how do we develop self-awareness? How do we build our emotional intelligence? First of all, it's important to manage our own emotions effectively. That may mean going to therapy or building a journaling practice so that we can learn more about who we are and become more self-reflective. We can practice active empathy with other people by spending time acknowledging their feelings or expressing appreciation and gratitude for who they are. We can show genuine interest in other people and express concern for who they are and their circumstances. And we can always communicate with respect and with humility towards others by being open to opinions that might be different from ours. And then being positive and always having a growth mindset and a constructive attitude, even when we are disagreeing. Those are some ways that we can begin to build the superpower, the foundation of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Pillar number 2 is expressiveness and the ability to communicate clearly and concisely. When we communicate clearly, we're more able to keep our listeners' attention. It's more possible for us to ensure that our message is heard and understood. And when we communicate clearly and effectively, there's less opportunity for disengagement and for misunderstandings. Now, misunderstandings will exist as long as human beings do, but effective communication is the best antidote to it that I know of. Clear and concise communication and expressiveness matters because being seen and known and understood is a basic, fundamental emotional human need. And it can be the difference between feeling isolated and alone and demoralized and feeling part of something bigger, feeling connected. It can be the means by which we attract and connect with our tribe, with our friends, and with romantic relationships. When we are able to effectively communicate who we are and what we want, we draw the right people in and we become charismatic in our own unique way. Speaking clearly with precise articulation and using a dynamic range of tempo and pitch and volume are skills that will impact your ability to communicate your message clearly. Make sure to avoid unnecessary jargon and filler words, empty language like and like, which can diminish your authority and project a lack of confidence and a lack of power. Organize your thoughts before speaking. If you're speaking extemporaneously, then be sure to use pausing and breath to give yourself a chance to organize your thoughts before you speak them. And the more you practice this, the faster and easier it becomes to pull those thoughts together and to speak in a way that has impact. Always use simple and direct language. They say that most people understand things at a grade 5 level. And sometimes when we're speaking around an area in which we have expertise in, we can forget that the language we're using may be more involved than is really necessary. Storytelling is powerful, and you have stories. So tell your stories so people can connect with your personal experience and so you can make yourself more relatable. These are the kind of skills I teach in my group training, Speak for Yourself. And in a new experimental beta offering, I'm currently giving to the first 10 people who sign up. It's called Bespoke, and it is a personal one-on-one 4-week version of the group training program designed just for you. One-on-one VIP. And because it's in a beta test version, mostly to see if I enjoy offering it, to see if it's useful and has impact, I'm offering it at half price for the first 10 people. And so now there are 7 spots remaining. And because it is in beta test, you can jump on a call to see if this could be right for you. If there are spots remaining, you will find my calendar link in the notes. Pillar number 3 is active listening. Listening fully, understanding, responding, and remembering what is being said. L.J. Isham says, listening is an attitude of the heart, a genuine desire to be with another, which both attracts and heals. Not only does it give us the ability to collect information that can be impactful, but by listening to another fully, it can have a healing property and change their experience of who they are. One of my teachers, Casey Baker, refers to the concept of fertile listening, which she says is listening to another in a way that they can't help but bloom in your presence. If a speaker or a person you're relating with can see and feel your presence as they speak, if you can, through your listening, create a space where ideas can flourish and connections can deepen, it will build rapport and trust. And you will be remembered as a person who brings out the best in them. So in order to be an effective communicator who has a skill set of fertile listening, focus on the speaker without interrupting. And then you can summarize, paraphrase, reflect, or clarify what you've heard using phrases like, what I think I hear you saying is, repeating back what you've understood. Or it sounds like you're feeling, if I understand you correctly, you're saying, or correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like. When you use these sentence stems to summarize, paraphrase, reflect, or clarify, you are providing an opportunity to communicate that you've been listening, to double check what you're understanding, and to give the person speaking an opportunity to clarify or correct. You can also ask open-ended questions for clarification or to encourage elaboration on the topic or a more in-depth discussion. Some sentence stems you can use for that are, tell me more, or how did that make you feel? Or why do you believe that? What does that mean to you? What happened next? If you can ask short, open-ended questions, questions that are not about you sharing your opinion, but in fact, in truth, in sincerity, an opportunity to express curiosity and encouragement for them to go a little deeper, you will go a long way to building rapport and to deepening the conversation. Pillar number 4 is responsiveness. Active listening is one type of responsiveness, but there are other ways that we can interact that can increase the connection and have an impact. Responding with praise or constructive input promotes growth and improvement in the relationship and as a supportive means for developing the other person, whether it's someone you're managing or someone you work with. You can give impactful feedback when you focus on behaviors and steering away from personal attributes about who the person is, but rather what they did. And because people are sensitive to criticism, most people prefer receiving more positive feedback than what they might perceive as negative feedback, even if it is constructive. So use the sandwich method where you say one thing that you like, one opportunity for growth, and finish with a piece of positive affirmation or reflection. And when you're receiving feedback or criticism, always practice having an open mind, being receptive, gracious, and having humility. Always say thank you when someone goes out of their way to give you feedback, even if you might not accept it, you might not use it, or you might not even think it's true. Give yourself an opportunity to let it land, to digest it, and seriously consider it. The 5th pillar is nonverbal and visual communication. You probably have heard the statistic that 55% of communication is the emotional content, which is conveyed by body language. 38 is through the way we use our voices and the tone and the tempo. Only 7% of the meaning of content is conveyed through words. So for that reason, facial expressions and gestures and body language are super important. They reinforce the verbal messages and they convey and communicate emotions and create connection. Connected eye contact releases oxytocin in the body, which gives both us and the person we're speaking with an emotional boost because oxytocin is the feel-good hormone that's released in our brains. So nonverbal signals provide immediate feedback on conversations. So when we nod or give eye contact or other clues or cues that indicate understanding or agreement or the need for clarification, that ensures a smoother communication flow. Be mindful of your body language and your posture and what you're communicating nonverbally. So if you can remain relaxed and physically open with an open-hearted chest and relaxed arms, maintaining appropriate contact, and then using gestures and facial expression to support your words and create connection, then you'll become a master at nonverbal communication. Whether you want more success in the working world, in your career, or as an entrepreneur, or in your personal relationships with family members, friends, or in love, communication skills can make or break your success and your happiness. Don't leave it to chance. These are skills that can be learned. I have a ton of free content on YouTube, usually posted on Mondays, as well as a whole series on TikTok and Instagram, as well as occasional posts on LinkedIn. I have courses, I offer coaching, but it doesn't matter if you get it from me. Find a way to work on these skills because I want better job performance, higher earnings, more opportunities for you. And I want epic love for you too. So that in romantic relationships, you can build trust. You can be effective at resolving conflicts and powerful at maintaining deep emotional connections. Investing in your communication skills, in effective communication will be an investment that pays off in both financial and emotional dividends. And don't forget that becoming a more effective communicator is an infinite game. We play it for the long term, and there are always ways to improve. So which of these communication skills do you already do well? And which one would you like to pay a little more attention to? What's one skill you're willing to practice this week? Put it in the comments. And if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. I post speaking and communication skills information on Mondays, random tips and talks on Tuesdays, interviews on Wednesdays, and behind the scenes life updates on my nomadic life on Fridays. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next time.